that Ed Murrow did an important program, waiting far too long, may I say, on CBS, about Joe McCarthy, which revealed him to be what he was, a kind of addled thug. And will anybody do that for Judge Starr? At the moment, I don't think so, and I don't quite understand why not. If you know, I've been watching all these programs. I'm a junkie now. I mean, I can't stop watching, you know, Ginsburg's 5 o'clock shadow, and the blonde lady who was at the O.J. trial, and Marcia's back, and my God, how she looks. I mean, that's, she looks like Olivia de Havilland at 25. I mean, you know, everybody's changed on television. There is no death. Go on television, you know, you live forever. They always manage, now, 11% of the people support Mr. Starr. And the president has got about 80% people like him. Yet on every program, it's about 3 to 1 for Starr. And the one who speaks for Clinton usually looks kind of funny. You know, the hair is standing up, and he's got triple thick glasses on. And I don't know what that means. The networks belong to the ownership of the country, which is a very tightly run affair. They're all interlocked, and they get their view of the world out to the people, and no other view can really get in there. They have the force. When Hillary said that it was a right-wing conspiracy, she was perfectly right. But you see, we've been conditioned, because there are so many conspiracies, of which we were in many ways direct and indirect victims, that anyone who says conspiracy, you know, believes in flying saucers. And Elvis Presley was, you know, trying to dynamite the Capitol last night. That's what they're supposed to think. It's a knee-jerk reflex. Oh, he's a conspiracy theorist. Well, what is a political party but a conspiracy to seize power and the people's money, you know? So what happened to the Clintons, and I had a chance to explain it to Hillary once, several times. I know her, I've only met him, but I've seen her several times, and I admire her very much. But I said, in effect, how could you two, I mean, you did go to Yale, which is the Vatican of the ruling class of the United States, and not understand how the country is run. And then I thought, I was not so rude to say so, but those who will be rulers of the country at Yale who have gone to Choate or Groton are not going to have much to do with a couple who want to be governor of Arkansas. So right off, they were out of the loop. But I thought that they might have picked up something at Yale about how the country is run. It's owned by a series of conglomerates. 1% has 90% of the wealth. It's owned by great corporations. It's all sort of interlocking. No, they don't have regular meetings, because they all think alike. They don't have to meet. That's why it's a ruling class. And the Clintons decided to be virtuous, which, of course, no good deed goes unpunished. That is really death in American politics now, and the ruling class does not like that one bit. Every civilized country on earth has a national health system, which is single payer, which the government pays for. And we are the only one without it. And we're without it because most of the people don't know about it. And when they do hear about it, it's totally smeared and skewed for them. Well, the Clintons thought this was something the country needed. It was very popular. And then they proceeded to misplay it. The true enemy, and it's very nice to have, but this is only 2 years after they were president when I laid it on her ear. And I said, everyone hates the insurance companies. Take them on, because they get 1/3 of all the money that we spend, the average person, for medical care. And they don't give any, they don't give mercurochrome. They get nothing but money. Now, the insurance companies are the piggy bank of the corporations, of the ownership of the United States. You have challenged the piggy bank, the cash cow. Well, she said, we did our best, to make it fair, to look after their interests, look after the people's interests. I said, that was the mistake. Didn't you know that they will fight you to the death, and beyond the grave, they will be after you? Well, she said, we thought that in time. I said, you gave them time to spend $500 million in advertising. On television, you remember, Bruce, does this mean that we can't have Dr. Haskins? Who delivered Buster Boy and Laurie Lou? I'm afraid, Lorraine, it does. Oh my God, Bruce, it's communism. And then Chopin's Death March comes up. I said, you're trying to find agreement with sharks. It won't work. You've got to make them the enemy at first, target them, get the people behind you, make it war. They waited too long. And I said, you know, it isn't going to, they'll try and defeat you in the next election, and they probably will. I was wrong on that, but they'll go after you in other ways. You will hear such stories about yourself as you never dreamed of, because they're in a position to put this in the press, which they also own. Look at General Electric. I mean, they're into everything, and with costly overruns at the Pentagon. Have we ever seen Tom Brokaw on NBC, owned by General Electric, ever mention an overrun at GE? No, we don't. That's how it's run. It's all tightly controlled. And here, a pair of hicks, really, they're not hicks now, but they certainly were when they got in, thought that they could do something good for the people when the first law of the ownership of the country is you do nothing for them. They get nothing back for their tax dollar except the odd light show in the Gulf. It's a lousy system, isn't it? Yes? The prime element in writing good historical fiction is to write good historical fiction. I'm afraid that there are enough readers around for your product. I've always maintained in the last 20 years we've had more good writers in the country than we've had good readers. I'm for giving Pulitzer Prizes to readers, you know, and all sorts of prizes. Golden Lamp, you know, Reading Lamp, you know, for the best reader of mystery stories of the year. Yes?
I got one. As I see it, the whole system is based on the word the lie. Now, because we've been lied to for thousands of years about religion, about the automobile, the safe auto, the whole thing's based on a lie. In your opinion, what would you do if you went on television for 1 hour to talk to the people? How do we get people to tell the truth so we can cure cancer and people can go to bed with their stomach full? Politicians, religion, expose the whole lie. In my opinion, it's all based on not telling the truth.
Did you hear that? Well, he said that we've been lied to so consistently for so long, not just Americans, everybody. And what would one do, in reference to religion and so on, if I could go on television for 1 hour and rout the lies? This reminds me of a moment, and I was on Charlie Rose, I guess it was, and they suddenly piped in out of the blue as Bob Dole from Washington. This is before he ran for president, he was getting ready. And I'd never met him, and I didn't know he'd be coming on the program. Charlie Rose decided to surprise me, knowing I'd be furious, because I wouldn't be ready. And Dole's face fills the screen, and I said, the night before, Admiral Inman had been appointed head of the CIA and then turned it down because of a conspiracy between the New York Times and, I don't know, somebody else. And he'd gone on television and he'd talked for an hour with a mad look in his eye on why he couldn't accept the job and so on. And I threw that. I said, asked Dole about it, the Republican Party. He was part of the conspiracy. And he was supposed to meet with William Safire of the Times in order to destroy the administration. I said, in secret, I said, where do you two meet in secret, since you're both fairly well known?